Hello and welcome to an episode of the Sunday Surefire Daily Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, the Commish. Joining me today is my guy, Ethan Weaver.
Commish, how we doing?
Doing pretty well, my man. Doing pretty well. We're talking everybody's three favorite letters. That's DFS. Can't wait to break it down here. Talk some Week 6 Daily Fantasy Football. We're talking captain's line. Not captain's lineups this week. We're talking just your standard classic 9-player lineups that you can fill out there on DraftKings, salary cap, all that good stuff. We're talking the quarterback that an expensive play you want to get into your lineup. We're talking a cheap play you got to get into your lineup, and we're talking a defense too. You can't forget about the defenses down there at the bottom. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I fill out those, I'm like, I want this running back, I want this receiver, this tight end, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, almost forgot about that defense. But we don't do that around here because we got the two winning defenses that you can plug into your lineup this week to win some money in these things. Hopefully you can take down a big tournament. Let us know if you do. Hit us up on X if you do, and we're on there at Sunday_Surefire. But yeah, a lot to break down here, Ethan. You excited to chop it up here and do some DFS?
Always excited to talk DFS. I think it's a good way to get your mind right going into Week 6. Looking at all the matchups, looking at the sleeper plays, the least expensive guys you can get in your lineup that you think are going to have a chance to pop. So I always like talking DFS.
Always. Well, let's talk DFS then. Let's start with the expensive guys. Who are the big ticket items that we have to get into our lineups this week?
So I was a little on the fence of who I wanted to talk about tonight. I think I am going to talk Josh Jacobs at 7,300, and it's pretty simple. They're playing the Cincinnati Bengals. I know the savior Joe Flacco is coming to town and starting this week, but that actually might help Josh Jacobs because that means the Bengals may be able to put up some points and keep the Packers starting offense on the field throughout the fourth quarter. I mean, the Bengals just can't stop anybody on the ground. They rank 32nd against the position. They're going to be playing from ahead, a positive game script, and Josh Jacobs, I think he's going to tote the rock a lot, and he is going to reap the rewards. I don't think there's probably a higher floor play on the slate.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's a good call. I mean, he's in my lineup as well, and that's a kind of an easy one. One of those, like, you see the matchup and you see it's Jacobs coming off a bye, well rested, ready to go. That's an easy one. I like the call a lot. I think a lot of lineups are going to start with Josh Jacobs being built around them. So definitely a good high price expensive player to start with. But my expensive play isn't super expensive. This one doesn't quite break the bank. I mean, like I said, I have Jacobs in there, so kind of had to go a little cheaper some other places. And I decided to go sort of a middle of the road quarterback, which is not something I usually do. I'm usually on the higher end or I'm on the lower end with quarterback, but I'm in the middle this week. And I look at Justin Herbert here. It costs $6,300. I see a Chargers running back room that's absolutely decimated with injuries, and it's early in the year, so there's a long way to go. They are going to roll the committee of Haskins and Vidal this week. We'll see how that rolls, but I think that this really means there's going to be more on the shoulders of Justin Herbert to move the football this week, meaning with his arm, getting the ball to those talented wide receivers that he has to work with that are still on the field, and as well as with his legs too, in the form of rushing the ball. And that's something he's done a lot more thus far in 2025. He's on pace for 520 rushing yards this season, which would blow his previous career high of 306 out of the water. So I think they could use him as an extension of the running game if things get tricky. So maybe he sneaks in a rushing touchdown this week as well. So I thought the price point was good enough where I felt confident putting him in there, just because I think he's going to be in for more work than he usually would be. When both those running backs are going.
No, I like Justin Herbert against Miami. I think if the Chargers elect to put the ball in his hands, I think he's just going to torch the Miami Dolphins. I went in a little bit different direction at quarterback for my lineup, and I guess just a little bonus play. I went Drake May, who is only 5,900. So I thought usually our threshold, I believe, for cheap plays is under $6,000 for quarterbacks. So that's kind of my bonus cheap play there, because Drake May has been balling out fantasy wise. He didn't score a ton obviously last week against the Buffalo Bills, but he played absolutely amazing football. But Herbert, going back to Herbert, the matchup is juicy. I think I'm just hoping for him to hit that elite ceiling, Miami needs to score and put up points, because if they don't, I think it's going to be a lot of the running the ball with Hassan Haskins and Vidal there. So we'll see. We'll see if Miami can keep up a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully they can. Hopefully Tua plays and they get the offense cooking and ends up being a shootout, which is what we always like to see for fantasy. But you gave us a little bit of a tease. You gave us a little bit of a sneak peek on your first cheap play. So you're not allowed to bring up our boy Drake May on this one. But who do you got? Who do you got as another sleeper guy in your lineup this week?
So another guy I have in my lineup for this week as a cheap play is a receiver that went off last Thursday against the Rams, and that's Kendrick Bourne, wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. I like this matchup in terms of potential fantasy points, because I do think the Buccaneers are going to put up points. I think Mac Jones is going to need to throw the ball. I mean, right now, Bourne is only priced at $5,000. I mean, do I expect him to have another absolutely ballistic performance like he did on Thursday night? Probably not. But for $5,000, you don't need that to return value. I mean, right now, Jennings didn't practice today, which we're recording this on Wednesday, October 8th. Pearsall is expected to be out. Kittle is going to be out. I just said Mac Jones is going to be in place of Purdy, and Mac Jones obviously has a good rapport with Bourne. So I think it's another situation where Kendrick Bourne is going to be hyper targeted, and they're going to need to throw the ball, because I think the Buccaneers are going to be playing from ahead, putting up points, and Mac Jones in a negative game script is going to have to throw the ball quite a bit to one of his favorite options. And I think he's priced way too low right now.
Ethan's going the born again route, baby, and I co-sign. I co-sign with it. Now he's another smash play this week. That's the guy Max got chemistry with, dating back from his days in New England. So it worked out pretty good last Thursday night. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't this week. And maybe he doesn't have the ballistic yardage total, but maybe he finds the end zone and makes his day that way. So I think it's good for the price point. You definitely can't beat that at wide receiver. At tight end, I went a little bit cheaper even. I went down and dirty, $3,500 for my starting tight end in the form of David Njoku. He's getting no longer catching passes from Joe Flacco, like you said. He's now in Cincinnati, but he does now have a rookie quarterback in Dylan Gabriel, who looked confident last week in his game against the Vikings, especially for a rookie quarterback, making his first star international game. A lot of things going on there for Gabriel, but looked pretty good targeting the tight ends. Njoku and Harold Fannin Jr. combined for 13 targets, and both players actually ended up scoring a touchdown in the game. So, and sometimes we see this with a rookie quarterback. Sometimes the tight end's the guy they latch onto, and you think between the Browns taking a simplistic game plan, kind of a conservative approach with their rookie quarterback, maybe they're not chucking bombs on the field because they don't really have the weaponry at wide receiver to do that, especially with their big body guy and Cedric Tillman on IR. I think it's kind of a combination of factors where the game plan lends to it, and the way they want to play is to kind of hang in this game. They want to run, and then maybe some play actions with the tight ends. And I think a guy like Njoku could just kind of be that security blanket for Dylan Gabriel in this one. And for $3,500, I mean, you don't really need a whole hell of a lot to make your day.
No, I mean, I like the call, and I like the call so much. David Njoku is also in my lineup. I mean, I was
2 for 2.
Yeah, I was so high on David Njoku coming in this year, and it was just kind of weird to see like Joe Flacco go away from a guy that he hyper targeted back in 2024, and right when Joe Flacco gets benched, Dylan Gabriel comes in, and like you said, hyper targets the tight end. So I really like David Njoku a lot, especially for that price point. He has a very good matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers in terms of their ranking against the position, which is 25th. So I think Dylan Gabriel is going to have success. If he's going to have success throwing the ball, it's going to be to the tight end position.
That's right. Njoku's going to be the guy. Book it. But let's talk. We have to close out with defense here. Like I said, you can't forget the defenses here, because if they take one to the house, it can change your fortunes, especially in a tournament play if you're going for the big money here. So who's your steel curtain this week?
Steel curtain. I'm going with our home team, the New England Patriots, going to New Orleans. I just think they're going to be able to shut down Kendre Miller and Alvin Kamara. I actually do think Kamara might have a decent day in the receiving game because I think they're going to be forced to play from behind and throw the ball, which I think lends to the Patriots defense scoring some fantasy points. The Patriots rank 4th against the running back position. It's going to put the ball in Rattler's hands, and I think bad things are going to happen. I know Spencer Rattler has been playing okay. He's been playing, I mean, he's been up and down, but I think the Patriots defense with Gonzalez coming back, they're starting to come into their own. I think they're getting better each week. They're coming off a massive win in Buffalo. I think they're going to still ride that high, and I think they're just going to pummel the New Orleans Saints. And I think the defense at a price of 3,100 is a defense I like to get in my lineup.
Yeah, it's a good defense to target. I think the logic and the reasoning is sound. It's not a home game for them, but I think it's one of those situations where if they get up early on the Saints, maybe that takes the crowd out of it as well, and it could get ugly pretty fast. I mean, the Saints have won their first game of the year last week, which is great. So maybe there's a little bit of a letdown coming off that first win they got. So I like the call, and obviously I'll be rooting for our Patriots like I am every week. So hopefully it pays off for multiple reasons. I'm going to go. I went slightly more expensive, probably the next defense on the list, if I'm being honest. I went the Las Vegas Raiders, $3,200, playing at home against the team that I guess I'm just going to pick on this year in the Tennessee Titans because they deserve it. But I say
what
that.
What they ever do to you, Pat? Come on.
Not much. It's kind of one of those franchises that's not really memorable. Other than the one time we went to Tennessee to see the Patriots play, and they absolutely kicked our ass in that game. That was a tough flight home from Nashville for multiple reasons. But it was good. Good time, regardless of the score. I'm rolling with the Raiders defense. They're playing at home against Tennessee. And I just think, oddly enough, the Titans are coming off a win, kind of the craziest wins I've ever seen, some of those plays in that game. But yeah, I just need to see this as a spot where, those interceptions that Cam Ward throws don't get knocked out of a guy's hand in return for a touchdown. Maybe they get returned for a touchdown the other way for the defense. So I'm hopeful that maybe they can Max Crosby can have a field day, rack up some sacks. This one gets ugly early, and then the defense keeps pouring it on later. So going with the Raiders for 3,200.
What was more enjoyable for you to watch? Was it the way the Tennessee Titans won that game with the thrown interception to the fumble to the touchdown, or Trevor Lawrence falling all over himself and then getting up and scoring a touchdown?
Well, I can tell you that the Trevor Lawrence touchdown did not ruin my parlay on Monday night. So I guess I'll go. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that one more than I did having the Titans or the Cardinals -6, which should have been a layup. If not for Arizona being complicit in that game and snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. I guess if you're going to ruin my parlay, I want you to lose. So they accomplished that, I suppose. So, so good parlays out there this weekend. That was not one of them.
Yeah, hey, I rode with you. So hey, we both lost. So we went down together. But yeah, hey, it happens. But no, Tennessee. I mean, I think we may be able to go on this show every single week and just target whoever's playing the Tennessee Titans. I think that is that's sound logic, and you'll probably have a pretty safe floor week to week. So there is no pushback from me at all regarding the Raiders against the Tennessee Titans.
It's typically a solid strategy in DFS to find the bad offense and target them over and over again. It's also typically not a bad strategy to like and subscribe to this podcast, where we're coming at you every single week cranking out great content, both on the DFS front, redraft front, dynasty, all that good stuff, folks. So please hit that like and subscribe button. And until next time, peace.